Hi, today I want to talk to you about how to handle disappointment in your relationship. Maybe you've been wanting to go on a vacation for a long time and they just don't have the time for it. Or maybe you wanted to get a dog, but she just doesn't feel ready. And it breaks your heart to hear that no. Like it sucks so much. Why does it hurt so much? Today I will share three strategies on how to handle these disappointing situations in your relationship. And maybe by the end of this video, you will feel a little lighter, a little hopeful, a little more confident that next time when you hear a no, you don't really go out of control in the pain. You don't feel so lost with the hurt so much. My name is Tapas Dwivedi. I'm a relationship therapist and a coach. And I'm sharing these lessons based on everything that I've learned from my teachers, from my mentors, and things that I've applied in my own relationships and seen them work over and over again successfully. Firstly, I'm sorry. Hearing no sucks. Nothing hurts in that moment more than that. It's crazy how it's shocking how much it hurts, right? Many of us almost feel like crying like a child would because it physically hurts to be disappointed by our own partner in a relationship. The disappointment, the pain of our partner not wanting what we want to do. And then it affects your focus at work and you can't concentrate on meetings, or you were about to meet friends and now you have to cancel that plan because you just aren't in the state of mind right now because it hurts so much to be disappointed by your partner. But you're here now. Maybe you got this link from me because I shared it somewhere, or you searched for it on YouTube. But for whatever reason, you are here now and you've been looking for a solution. You've been looking for a way to manage this pain that you feel when you're disappointed. And that's a very good first step. Here are three strategies to try next time you hear that dreadful no from your partner. Number one, how do you feel? How do you feel? What emotions come up when you hear the no? You asked your husband that you really want to get a dog, and he says that, I'm really sorry, but I'm not in the mind space to get a dog. Like, it's a no go for me. Getting a pet is not a good idea. I'm sorry. And how do you feel when he says that? What emotions come up? What words would you describe those emotions? Disappointed? Sure. Angry? Anger is a very intense emotion, right? Sure, you feel angry. What else do you feel? Can we unpack this anger? Can we look underneath this anger? What other emotions are there? Do you feel hurt? Do you feel sad? Do you feel maybe rejected? Many of us were never taught. Many of us never had the vocabulary to describe the emotions that we feel. We just act out. We say things in response. But if someone were to ask us how do we feel, we just don't know what the words are. It's because we were never taught as children or even as adults how to describe our emotions. You cannot understand what's going on with you. You cannot understand why you feel this amount of pain, crazy pain, when you don't know how to verbalize your own emotions. So I've in the description below, I've linked a little sheet, a cheat sheet of all basic emotions that humans feel in different situations. The next time you hear that no from your partner, take a time out and list down, like actively on a piece of paper, list down at least three emotions you feel in that moment. The first time I did this exercise, it was 6 years ago in my own therapy, and it has changed my life since then. Earlier, I used to really explode when I would feel these emotions. After listing down in my own head the emotions that I feel, I have found that my response is much more calm. Your husband says no to you getting a pet, and how do you feel? Maybe you feel angry, maybe you feel crushed, you feel furious, you feel rejected, maybe you feel grief. And the subtle ones, the more subtle you get, the closer you are to knowing what to say next, how to act next, the closer you are to your own peace. Strategy number two, build a positive perspective. And no, I don't mean that right after you hear a no from your wife, you start thinking of the situation as positive. It does not make sense. It is impossible to do. You are not trying to counter the disappointment that you feel. But what I really mean here, and it's an important word, the word perspective. What do I mean by perspective? So when you hear that no, right? Think of the last time you really heard that no and that it hit you like a ton of bricks, right? And do you remember how everything went dark? Like your whole relationship really started to feel a little gloomier. The truth is, from an evolutionary standpoint, what we are experiencing in that moment is a negativity bias. It's it's a survival mechanism that our ancestors learned to identify and to react to actual threats in the wild. They used to roam around from place to place, hunters and gatherers, and there was danger all around. There were life threatening situations, and they had to learn this way of constantly looking out for threats, constantly seeing negativity and what could go wrong from moment to moment. It saved their children, and it's a result of that we are here. So it's a very useful strategy. It's a very useful mechanism when there is a life and death situation. But your partner saying no to Mexican food is not a life and death situation. But neither are you an idiot for thinking that way. It's happening because your evolutionary trait is taking control. So you have to find a counterbalance. You have to find an antidote, a counter to that evolutionary trait, to that automatic mechanism. How can you tell that it's your negativity bias? He always says no every time I want to go out for a walk. Or she never wants to agree to it every time I want to have sex. Every time you are thinking or saying things that involve a never or always, that's your negativity bias. That's your clue that you are being blinded right now. What's the antidote? First, calm down. Take a break, go for a walk, sing a song, fold your laundry. Take a break. You don't have to get over the disappointment. You can still feel disappointment, but get out of this crippling flooding that you're feeling. Realize that it's not a life and death situation and take a break. And then when you're calm, think about 5 things that your partner did that you either missed or really appreciate about them that they did. Something that you don't really talk about, but you're thankful that they are like that. So for example, he's, say what you will about him, but he's a clean guy. He doesn't leave his clothes lying around, or he's very helpful, or she's very reliable, and she's such a good listener, and she doesn't explode in anger like that other partner of my friend does. So I'm really thankful that she's like this. List down 5 things that your partner does that you normally miss but really want to appreciate. And remember, you're not trying to counter the disappointment. You're not countering the disappointment. You are countering the negativity bias. You're countering your evolutionary mechanism. You're trying to train a new muscle to not think in those old ways, but think in a new way. You're acquiring a new skill, so you have to practice that. You're doing this in your own self-interest. You're doing this so you stop feeling so consumed and so crippled and so destroyed by this disappointment. So you can go on and do your job after this. So you can go and meet your friends after this. You're trying to contain this disappointment. You're trying to make this disappointment as big as it should be and not let it consume your entire relationship. So this is what you're trying to do when you think of these 5 positive things. And the best time to do this activity is soon after you have felt disappointed. Yeah. Only then you can think clearly. Only then you can come back to the discussion. Only then you can ask your partner for what you really want. And you can try to get what you want. You don't have to always hear a no. You can sometimes get what you want, which is something that I've covered in another video. And you can click on that and see that. But for now, we'll focus on handling disappointment. So to sum up, look out for always or never statements coming up in your brain or coming out from your mouth when you're disappointed. Take a break and then come back and list down 5 positive things that your partner did in the last week. Strategy number 3, and this is an interesting one. It works for some people, doesn't for others, and I'm really curious to hear whether it works for you or not. It's called flip the complaint. How does it work? So every time that your partner says no to you and you feel disappointed, think about the one time that you said no to them and probably disappointed them. Oh man, I really wanted to go eat Mexican food, but she just said no, and it sucks so much. She always does that. Although I have said no to Chinese food a few times. I know I'm not a big fan of it, and I know I've said no to her. Or I know yesterday she asked to go for a walk and I just wanted to play my video games and I said no. So I guess I say no to her as well. What you're trying to do in that moment is, for every no you're seeing from your partner, you're balancing it with your own no. And thereby, you are seeing the fact that you both are human, that you don't have a partner that always meets your needs, and neither are you that kind of partner. You have an imperfect relationship. And you're human, and all humans have imperfect relationships. Even the greatest, the best relationship on the planet is disappointing. But there's one thing that the greatest relationships do differently: they handle disappointment differently. And that's what you're trying to do as well. You're getting better at handling disappointment. As my teacher Teddy Reel would say, it's not about the partner that you think you deserve, it's about the partner that you have right now. And this is a partner that is disappointing. And this is what your task is. Your task is to handle that disappointment. That's it. It's a clear task. So, flip the complaint. For every example where your partner has said no to you, think of one example where you have said no to them. This is a great way to balance your disappointment and not let it become a forest fire in your brain. So for now, I leave you with these 3 ways to handle disappointment. Verbalize your emotions, train your muscle for positive perspective, and flip the complaint. Now, one of them may work for you or none of them may work for you. There are hundreds of neat ways like these to handle disappointment, and it depends on what kind of person you are. And if you want to explore more ways to learn how you can handle disappointment, book a free 30-minute session with me, and we can talk about what is the flavor of disappointment that you feel. What exactly goes on when you feel disappointed? What things that your partner does make you crippled with disappointment? And let's talk about that in that call. So write down in the comments about what you think about these strategies. Do you think they'll work for you? Did you find them working for you? Because the next step is about giving your partner feedback. Giving your partner feedback in a way where they understand how disappointed you are, in a way where you can get what you want from them. But that's for another time. That video is for another time, and maybe next week. Let me know if you'd like me to talk about that in the next week, or would you like me to talk about something else? And share this with someone you know who hears a lot of no in their relationship, who struggle a lot with their disappointment in the relationship. And remember, if you want to be with someone, you will be disappointed. I can assure you, you will be disappointed. It's all about how skilled you are in handling these disappointments. And if you can't sometimes, if you're flooded, if you cry, if you make a big deal out of it, that's fine as well. We're all human. You are here and you're looking for a solution, and that's the most important thing. Thank you.